shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any longer. Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga. No, you can't control yourself any longer.
Hi, I'm Kurt Thompson, trumpet player and trumpet instructor. I'm going to be talking about and reviewing the top tier lead trumpet program that I have currently going on. The other program that I have that's been running for a couple of years is the 50 Techniques to Trumpet Upper Register. So I would also recommend that you look into that one too, especially if your range is not where it needs to be or not where you're satisfied with. You can also do both of these programs in tandem. You can do one program on one day and another day you could do this program. So this is a relatively new program. Let's talk about what this program will do for you and why you might want to take it. First of all, lead trumpet playing is not what it seems if you haven't done lead trumpet playing. If you go on the forums, which I go in there, and there's 99% of the people that not played lead trumpet, but they think they know all about it. They have an answer for everything. And so this course is to really provide clarity for the people who haven't played lead and have just been listening to others who don't know what they're talking about. When you go from 5th, 4th, 3rd, or 2nd trumpet, and you played lead trumpet, especially in a top caliber band or professional band or a very advanced college band, the first thing that you're going to notice is that, wow, I'm really exposed. So that's the real case. All of a sudden you can hear exactly what you're doing better than the other parts that you were playing. You're really out there. You're really exposed. Everybody can hear you. And people are going to know whether you make a mistake or whether you do something really fantastic. They're going to know about it. The other thing about playing lead trumpet that you're going to figure out real soon is that you have to really be well conditioned and have the power to play, because you can't just blend in. You're not playing fourth trumpet. You're not playing the ride book, blending in and waiting for your solo to come along. The lead trumpet player should be a little bit louder than the rest of the section. And to prove my point, if you have your own band or if you're in a band, have the lead player play your part, if you're able to do this, if they're amenable, and go out, back off 20 feet and have nobody play the lead and run through half a song. And you immediately know what I'm talking about. If you can't hear the lead player, if there's no lead player playing the lead part, the band is just like a car without a driver. It's hard to figure out what's going on, and you don't hear a lot of the melody and a lot of driving force behind the song. So the lead part is probably one of the most important parts of the band. Now do the reverse if you want. Have a great lead trumpet player play, and have all the other parts in the trumpet section not play. And if the lead player is strong and he's blended with the trombones and saxes and the rhythm, guess what? It's not going to sound half bad. It's not going to be the best, but it's not going to be half bad either. So that shows you how important the lead trumpet part is. So if you haven't actually played lead, or if you've just been on your couch playing along with Maynard Rob McConnell or Buddy Rich or whoever you're playing along with, it's not the same thing. What you're going to notice is that you're very, very exposed, and people are going to hear you play, and you're going to be kind of highlighted there. That's the one thing about lead trumpet playing that we're going to be into is the psychology. You have to have kind of a fighter attitude and an aggressive attitude and commanding attitude with lots of confidence. So when you play a note and a high note and the trombone player or the saxophone player turns around and gives you a look, you don't really care. You're the lead trumpet player. As long as you thought it was what you wanted to do, you're the lead trumpet player. And if it sounded good to you and it was what you wanted to do, you have to remember you're the lead trumpet player. Now, if you and the director have a disagreement about it, then you can have a debate about that at some other time. The lead trumpet player has liberties that the other members of the trumpet section do not. That the other members of the trombone section and the alto and tenor and bari members of the sax section do not. You have some liberties. You're able to do some things that other people in the band are not able to. You're the lead trumpet player. And you have to have the confidence and solid core to be able to hold up and believe in yourself and believe in what you're doing. And so that's another thing that we're going to talk about. This course is not only about making you a great lead player, but if you've never played lead, let's say that you're a principal trumpet player of an orchestra or a major metropolitan symphony, and you obviously know your stuff and you've done everything. You've gone through the whole program, and you're a great player. You've been, playing maybe principal trumpet, or let's say that you're just playing second trumpet or third trumpet, and you want to branch out. Well, this course is perfect for you. You can't just go from the symphony, even if you have fantastic technique and great chops. If you haven't done jazz and you haven't played commercial or Broadway, you're just not going to be able to make the leap and make it sound that great. So this course is perfect for that kind of player. It's perfect for the high school player who is all-state band. You're a junior or senior. You've never really fooled much around with a jazz band, or let's say you don't even have a jazz band, but yet you're good. You've been practicing. You got great technique. You've done some of the concertos. You try out for everything you can, and you've been making the California All-State Band or the Wisconsin All-State Band. You're a pretty high caliber level player, and you want to get better and go into jazz, especially maybe in college level. So this course is perfect for you. You're going to learn the fundamentals, the styles, the basic rhythms that come along your way so that at least you have a half a chance when you go to sight read. You're going to learn about the psychology, which I talked about at the beginning. Lead trumpet playing is not like, I'll repeat it again, it's not like playing third trumpet in the band. I consider third trumpet in a decent part to play. I consider it a get-along part. You're mainly playing harmony, and you're not commanding and leading the trumpet section. And you're also not really heard as much. If you miss a note at third trumpet, somebody might hear it, but if you miss a high C at the end of a song or at the beginning of a song as a lead trumpet player, everybody's going to hear it. So there's a whole different mindset to playing lead trumpet. This course is perfect for you. If you are a professional and have been in a jazz band, have been playing the second book, and you thought that you'd like to really be able to play split lead, and you've done it, but you're maybe not happy with what's going on or how your sound is, and you know how it's supposed to go, it's just not coming out right, this course is perfect for you. So you're going to learn a lot. Now, although if you look at the charts in this particular course, there are more charts than what you see here. This is just an example of some of the charts that we're going to study. It doesn't mean that we got to study some of the charts. Now, some of these are the hardest lead trumpet charts that you're going to ever come across in your life. And I can take the top lead trumpet players in the world, and if I have them play, for example, the great one on the third set after they've already played 15 songs, guess what? They already know that they're going to agree that this is one of the hardest songs. T.O., same thing. These are world-class, top-tier lead trumpet charts to play. You have to be good. We're going to study as much as we can based on your level. And if we need to throw in some other charts, we will do so. If it's able to take certain things down just to be able to get the handle on the style and the feel of that particular piece, we'll do that. So now, if you're looking at some of the charts and thinking I can never play T.O., for example, Don't worry about that. And that's the wrong mindset for a lead trumpet player. You need to think, I am going to be able to play that song at some point. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe next year, but I am going to be able to play it. So you have to have that kind of mindset, a real aggressive kind of fighter instinct that, you know what, these pieces I'm going to get down, I'm going to nail, I'm going to work on it, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be able to play these songs. So that's the mindset and psychology of a lead trumpet player, you know. And this course I'm just excited about it. The one thing I'm disappointed when I go to hear a jazz ensemble concert, a jazz contest, a jazz festival, a San Francisco Jazz Festival, for example, or if I go to hear even Monterey Jazz Festival, what's the one thing that I'm almost always going to be disappointed in? You know, it won't be the soloist, because the soloists almost always jam, you know. You know, a lot of people can jam really good on their changes, and they got great licks, and they play with great feel and timing and everything. If something's going to disappoint me, it's going to be the lead trumpet player of the group. They're either going to be the screamer that plays out of tune and misses every other note, and they're happy to take everything up an octave and sound horrible, or they're just not. They're going to be the kind of lead trumpet player that doesn't have chops, doesn't know how to lead the band, misses a couple notes here or there, and they're real timid, and they have a weak sound. So I want to do this course because I want people to get better at playing lead trumpet. I want them to feel confident about it. I want them to have the core and the self-esteem that it takes to really get out there and do that. Now, the next level is doing session work, which I've done plenty of that. Imagine going into a studio and looking at a song like T.O., or let's go down and look at a song like Birdland, and knowing you got to play that perfectly, you're being recorded. So that's a different mindset there. I mean, that's another level above. I mean, you really got to be on the money on that stuff, not just with your sight reading chops, but everything. So there's a lot more that goes into this than when you get on the forums and read about someone who's anonymous that talks about all the lead trumpet stuff they've done and how they did this and they did that, and how all the hundreds of bands that they played in where they played perfectly and they play double C's all night long. This is not about that. That's not the real world. That's someone anonymously blowing smoke up you know what. This is the real deal. We're working on real charts. These are real charts that you could actually find in real bands where you live or not too far. This course, when you get done with it, you will have the confidence to step in almost any situation and feel good about it. And there is a sight reading aspect to this course. So it's not good enough to be able to be a top tier lead trumpet player if you can't sight read. I mean, a lot of times that you're going to be subbing, or you get an extra chart or whatever, someone wants to do something and they throw it at you, you got to be able to sight read. This course will also encompass, to some degree, sight reading, getting familiar with the most common rhythms that come up, learning to be accurate, learning to read ahead. I have a speed reading course that I'm going to throw in this where you actually develop your peripheral vision so you can actually be reading ahead of where the music is. Listen again. Reading, playing, let's use playing instead of reading, playing ahead of where the music actually is. Actually, playing is not the best way. Let me go back. Reading ahead. Your eyes are actually reading in front of your playing is the best way to say I got ahead of myself. The reason you want that is because if your playing catches up to your reading, it's too easy to have a page turn, a distraction, or a funky rhythm come right up and make you stumble and crash and burn, and then you're lost. You miss the rhythm. So there's a whole lot of technique that goes into sight reading, and some shortcuts and tips that will make you a better sight reader. So we're going to talk about that. You take this course, you get done with it, and I really feel good. I really feel confident that you're going to be a great lead player. You're going to be much better than you were when you started the course, and you're going to have a lot more fun and a lot more confidence when it comes into moving up to lead trumpet. Now, just one quick note. I'm going to plug my 3-month trumpet upper register program, the 50 techniques. If you're not 100% happy with your range or your sound or your accuracy in the upper register, that one, like I said at the beginning, can be done in tandem with this course. It really is amazingly wonderful how your range can increase after 3 months of working on the right stuff in the right way. So you can do both of these courses at the same time if you like. So this is my review of the lead trumpet top tier program. becoming the best lead trumpet player that you can, or just learning how to play lead trumpet in the correct jazz style in a rock band, jazz band, Broadway situation. If you've only played classical and legit all your life, this is the course for you to take. I'm Kurt Thompson. Hope to hear from you soon. Okay, this is T.O. by Rob McConnell and the Boss Brass. It actually came from their Live and Digital album. And I'm just going to take a guess, it's probably around 1980 or 1981. So let me just talk a little bit about this song. As you get into a song like T.O. and playing trumpet one or the lead chart, if you scan through the whole thing, which we don't have the whole thing here in front of you, but you'll quickly realize that this is a monster lead chart. I'm not going to put the whole song up here. I'm just going to put up what we have in front of you, but I do encourage you to get the whole song. Or if you start this course with me, we'll actually work on the entire chart. The entire chart is long. It's an endurance test. And there are actually lots of F's, G's, and double A's, and even double C's in this one. So it will really test you as a top tier lead player. So let's take a look at this one here, just at the beginning. Obviously it says cut time, straight ahead swing, 2/16. For me, it feels more like a fast swing. But if you count it in two, it'll come out like a straight ahead swing. But you're still going to play it like you would any old, basic kind of swing chart. It's just going to be fast. Let's see. How not to play this song. So this is going by pretty fast. I'm just going to kind of hum about how you would not want to play the song. Do da dee da 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 da. Okay. A lot of people will play it like that. Number one, because they're fighting the high notes. They see all the ledger lines, they get scared. In their style and punctuation and articulation goes out the window. So what did I do wrong there? Well, the articulation was really bland, really soft, and I kind of dragged the beat. This one, even though it says swing, I pushed the beat on this one. I mean, I'm just going to push the beat. As a lead player, I don't want this thing dragging. And I don't want to have the laid back swing feel. I want this fast pushed ahead. So if I was going to do it as best as I can with my voice, do da 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 do da da ba ba da ba ba wa do da 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 dee da da dee da 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 da. And I hope that you can hear the differences in my articulation. I'm not even playing. So anyway, I think you got the right idea. Now, if I have already recorded this one, I'll put the recording that I did, just trumpet by itself, so you can hear the real articulation, how it's supposed to go. And then I'm also going to put the original chart on there. So as you're looking at this chart, you're going to be able to not only hear this narrative about it by myself, Kurt Thompson, but you're also going to be able to listen to the original Boss Brass and Rob McConnell recording of it. And then you're going to hear me, if I've done it, on most of these I have, but some I haven't, you're going to hear me just take the lead part and play it by itself, so we can segregate it from all the other things that are going on. Anyway, if you should see T.O. scan through it if it comes up on a gig for you or something like that, or you want to rehearse it. This would be a top tier level lead trumpet part. I would say of all the professional lead players that typically play on any given night, the majority will not be able to do this one. A minority will be able to make it through, but it may not sound that great, and there's going to be even just a small amount, I'm talking maybe handfuls, that will be able to just bust this one wide open and pop it out and make it sound the way it's supposed to sound. It's that kind of a piece. So have fun, take a look at it. This would be one of the pieces that we would be working on in the top tier trumpet program, lead trumpet program, if you're able and if your range is able. If not, there's other ones that we can look at where the range is a little bit lower. So anyway, enjoy. This is Kurt Thompson.
I'm no good without you. Take my arms, I'll never lose them. Take my lips, I'm gonna abuse them. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I go on, dear, without you? You took that part, what was my heart? Why not take all of me?
Okay, All of Me. Quite an old song. This particular arrangement, I believe, was done about mid-'80s. And I think this was actually composed a long time ago, back in the heyday of the big band area in the early 30s. This particular arrangement is by Lenny Niehaus. I love playing a lot of his lead stuff. It's great. This is one of the first lead trumpet parts that I actually learned back when I first started college, when I was 18 and 19. And I don't know if it's just because I have fond memories of it, but I really like this one. I like how it feels playing it. It's fun. There's just something about it that feels good on this one, and it could be just my nostalgia of it, but I like the song as well. I like how it's laid out. It seems to be easy to read if you're sight reading this one. You're looking at the first chart. The real meat of this one comes on the second page. There's a really good shout section that starts at 73 that's really fun to play. And this one could be done by a lot of people. I'm going to include it in the top tier lead trumpet program. However, I don't think that you have to be a top-tier lead trumpeter to do this one. There's a lot of high school, really advanced high school and college kids that can do this one. And many lead players can do this one. Many pros can do this one. Many third trumpet part players in a professional band can move up and play lead on this one. So it's not the most horrendously difficult one. I included it in the program, number one, because I just have fond memories of it. I like to play it. And it's not the easiest one around either. You have to be accurate. It does get up to some high Ds, and this one's just good for learning the style, getting the groove down, and it actually for me, it's a good teaching tool for people who tend to rush the beat. So this one here, we're going to really working on laying back on the beat. You know, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, da 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 da. Am I laying back? No. I'm right on the beat to kind of pushing the beat, which is what we don't want on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, da 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 da. That's laying behind the beat, and actually, I'm taking a little bit slower than how you're going to hear on the original recording. But so this one's good for working on the style and the groove. You and the rhythm section are going to work together on this one to really make it swing. And they're going to stay on the beat. Hopefully you have a rhythm section that knows what they're doing. They're going to be smack dab square on the beat, and you're going to be lagging slightly behind, and it creates a real fantastic swing Just a real, groovy effect with this one if you do it the right way. If you play it straight or rush it, you're dropped down several levels to what I would call just kind of like an average sound, an average lead playing sound, or below average. So we're going to work on this one to make sure you got the right feel. And also there's some ability to be accurate on this one that we'd work on. I think when you get done with it, you're going to love it. It's easily accessible. A lot of bands have this one. You're going to have fun with it. All of me. Hey, you're looking at a Birdland, the Maynard Ferguson version of Birdland. There's the mini versions. This particular one is arranged by Nick Lane, and you'll remember Nick Lane. He's also the one that composed and arranged Spirit of St. Frederick, which is another favorite of mine. And he's done a lot of other ones, of course. And he was a trombone player in Maynard's band for a while. So this is Birdland. You're looking at trumpet one, which actually happens to be not only the lead trumpet part, but also the solo part that Maynard played. The solo comes on in F. You're looking at only the first page. So if you're in the band and you have a solo player that would be playing the Maynard part, you as a lead player might be playing along. You're both playing the same part, so like double lead at the beginning at A, which can never hurt if you guys know how to do it right and play in tune. Or you might just be by yourself playing the lead trumpet part all the way to F, and then at F, of course, you won't be playing. You'd actually come back in at, it looks like you're going to be coming back in, let me see here, at L. That's probably where you would come back in as a lead player. But if there's no solo, it's just you're going to be doing the lead trumpet, and you're going to be doing the solo, which is not that big of a deal. You can handle it. This is a top tier lead trumpet piece, meaning if I went around to the top, let's say the top 25 jazz clubs in the world right now, I'm not going to probably hear this one, even if they got it in the book. And if I do hear this one, whoever's playing lead probably is going to have a tough time with it, and they might do a so-so job on it. There's going to be a handful of players that are going to be able to do above average and do decently on this one, probably getting most of the G's, although maybe they're going to be thinning out near the end. And there's just going to be just a handful, 4, 5, 6 trumpet players, if I happen to just pop in randomly and hear this one, that are going to nail the absolute holy you-know-what out of this chart. So this one is a monster chart. And don't sit there thinking, well, I can play this one. I'm on my couch and I can play this one. We're talking about this chart on, let's say, the third set of the night. You've already played, 16 songs. Now you're starting your third set. Let's say it's 11:30 p.m. and you've done 5 songs now in that set. Now here comes Birdland. That's what we're talking about. So you have to get in the right mindset and the right frame of how this could be played. It's not going to be the first one. It won't be the one and only song that you would play. This could be number 15 or number 18 in a lineup. So when I put it in that kind of context, you can see that this one definitely is way up there, and you have to be one of the top level lead players to be able to pull this off, especially if you've already played 15 songs in 2 sets prior to this one. So that said, this one is kind of a rockish. It is a swing piece in a way, but it's kind of a rockish piece. It's kind of a hybrid. I call it a hybrid because there's some different feels that I put into it that are different than if I did it just on a straight bassy type of chart. But it's not this is not an algebra roll chart either, or Earth, Wind, and Fire. So it's not pure rock either. It's kind of a blend of some of the different styles. This one is a fun one to play, especially if you have a good double G and you're accurate and you're in tune. This one just feels good, especially those first two measures feels really, really great. So you're only looking at the first page of this one. Would I say this is one of the hardest lead parts that you can play out there? Definitely not. It really isn't. Last Dive, if you've already looked at Last Dive, or it'll be coming on this review, is I would say twice as hard as this one, maybe 3 times as hard. I would say Satin Doll would be almost kind of equal to it. There could be a little bit of variance there. T.O. is much, did I say much? Much harder than Birdland. Much harder. And you're only, if you've seen T.O. on this review of the lead trumpet program, top tier lead trumpet program, you didn't see the whole T.O., but T.O. is like 10 times harder than Birdland. But anyway, you're going to have fun with Birdland. You can get out your horn right now. And undoubtedly, I have the recording, the original with Maynard on it. And you got the music in front of you, so you can get out your horn and just play along. Try to hear what the lead player is doing. This one is one of the charts that we're going to be working on in the top tier lead trumpet program that this review is about. That said, on some of the stuff, if you don't have the range, I would encourage you to go ahead and immediately get started on the 50 technique 3-month upper register course. That's really going to help you out tremendously. However, there are some alternatives. And some of the stuff we could take down. We could take down the beginning, and as long as you're getting the style right, knowing how this is supposed to sound when you take it up an octave. When you get to D, it's not horrible. You're on B flats and A's, and I think a lot of lead players, even a lot of jazz second book players, can do this one, and we can start working on it. So that's Birdland. Nice and Juicy. This was done, I believe, back in the early 70s. Jeff Steinberg, his name is in big bold letters right there. He's obviously the composer. I believe he was also in the Maynard Ferguson band, and currently, according to my last source of information, he was a director or faculty member at North Texas State University in Denton, Texas. So we have Nice and Juicy. You're looking at the first part only, but the rest of it has some decent playing on it, and there's some technical stuff to it. But once you go through it a few times, it looks daunting to sight read it. To look at all that black ink, and we're not used to really, screwing around with 30-second notes and stuff like that, which this one has. But a lot of people can sight read this down that are top tier lead trumpet players. And even if you can't, you go through it a couple times, listen to the recording, you'll have it nailed down. This one requires accuracy. Of course, you can see at the beginning, you don't want to start off this one and play and hit an E or an F or miss it and play a C. But the mindset of the lead trumpet player is you set, you breathe, you power out that D. If it comes out an F above D, you don't want it to come out at C, but you're just going to power out that note and you're not going to fear it. And the worst thing that could happen is you fear it, and whatever note that comes out wimpy. Even a wimpy D on this one is not going to be as good as a ball-busting F right above it. So just power out that note, and 99% of the time, you're going to get the high D with the right mindset. And, if you have to make a mistake on trumpet, do it with gusto. If you have to clam on an F, which of course, is not in this key. We're talking F natural, of course, if you're playing first valve for the D. But if you have to, and it comes out that way, so be it. But you want confidence. You want to pour the power on that D. You want everybody to know that you mean business, and you're not scared to play the high D just by itself. And the rest of it, after you get past the D, you'll just gather momentum, and the other stuff is going to come out easily for you. So you can listen to the style in the original, because I'm going to have the original here. I don't believe I'm actually playing the lead trumpet part by itself on this one. But we're going to go over it in detail. But at B, 4, 1, da 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 da. Da, 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 da. You might, at first glance, if you haven't played this, think that this is some kind of rockish rhythm that you have at the beginning, but the way it really lays across when you play it and with the band, the melody, it's just really swingy. So it's not like, it doesn't go like you might really think. So you're listening to the original so you can get a really good feel. It has a nice groove to it, it really swings. Yeah, it's a great piece. If you're also a good improviser in G blues, you'll love this one. There's lots of outlets on this one too for solos. So yeah, to be able to pull this one off and do great, you do need to be a top tier lead trumpet player. This is not for your high school lead trumpet player. It's not likely that most college lead trumpet players are going to be able to do well on this one, especially if you're talking about including the double G's, popping out the way you're supposed to, and having the power, so that when I'm out in the middle of the audience, 50 feet away from you or more, I'm going to be able to hear everything clear, and you're going to be real punchy. You're not going to be buried by the band. So chances are you're going to have to be a very advanced player with a decent range, or a professional lead trumpet player. I would say a good portion of professional lead trumpet players are going to be able to play this piece. Whether they really sparkle on it and dominate the band like this one calls for, probably not. But a lot of them will be able to play through it and do okay. It's only going to be that handful of players that dominate this one. Again, especially if this piece is not the first piece of the night, but you're playing 4 sets, and what if this one comes on the last set and it's 1:15 a.m. and you got 4 songs left on your last set, and this is one of them. So that's what we're talking about. Keep that in mind. We're not sitting on your couch and you're not playing this along with Maynard, and then you nail it and you think you do well. We're talking about you've already played 3 hours and you've played 20 songs plus, and now you're going to play it. And you got to be dominant on it. That's what we're talking about. So always keep that in mind, and keep the good frame of reference of lead trumpet playing in mind of what we got going here. So this is a top tier lead trumpet chart. You're going to have fun with it. It does require some decent range. However, I don't rank it up as near one of the hardest lead trumpet charts that you can play. T.O. Would just totally make this one almost look like kindergarten time. I'm serious. Play the entire T.O. and play nice and juicy and see how you feel. The T.O. is a major mother in the world of lead trumpet, especially if you play it as written without taking stuff down. So T.O. is a real tough one of the toughest ones. The great one, also, there's no comparison. Play the great one, play nice and juicy. You're going to want to break after the great one, but nice and juicy, you'll take a breath, you can keep going. However, I love the song. It's fun, it's quirky, it's interesting. It's got some complex rhythms, the way things fit together. Requires accuracy. It's a great song to play, and that's why I'm including it in the program. And as you can see, some of the stuff If necessary, we could take down if you don't have the high range for it. And the bulk of the stuff, you don't need a lot of high range, as you can see at B. Other stuff, does require a little bit of range into the upper register. Nice and juicy. Hi, you're looking at Satin Doll in front of you, and as you can see, it's from the library of the Count Basie Orchestra. I do believe it was originally done by Duke Ellington, and this particular arrangement is by Sammy Nestico. This is really the classic, swing chart. When I think of big band classic swing and lead, especially lead trumpet playing, I think of this one and a couple other ones. So, and this was done, I guess, in the mid to late 50s. This one here is actually doable for the most part. I'm going to include it in the top tier lead trumpet program, because when we add in all the sparkling high notes, it really does require some good lead trumpet abilities and skill. However, you can take out some of the double G's, and that makes it a little bit more doable. You don't see the second part of this one because I'm only going over the first part. But the second sheet does have quite a big shout section, which requires some decent D's and F's, and you do have to be quite accurate. So, all in all, this is a good one. I've heard many people do it. On this particular one, I've heard a lot of people do it well. So, if that says anything, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of professional lead trumpet players that can pull this one off and actually do pretty well on it. Sometimes their G's are not always that great, or they don't do the G's at all. But all in all, a lot of people can do this one. Even some decent college trumpet players can make this one happen. The thing about this one is just really getting the style down at the beginning. So I would really pop the upbeat eighth notes on this one more than you might think. And for me, when I played, I almost ghosted downbeat eighth notes on the first, actually on the second line. So just singing it wise, in fact, I'm not sure if I have recorded this one, but if I have recorded just trumpet by itself, you'll hear it. You hear how I do it. But if not, I'm going to just do a little humming on it right now. You're also going to hear the original Count Basie arrangement and recording of it, which should help you with it too. But at the beginning, you're coming in 7 measures after 17. 3, 4, 1, pull a D, da, 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 da. So I think you got the feeling right there of how I'm doing it, and I do it that way on trumpet. I am playing all the notes, but the feeling is a little bit of a ghost. Not quite a ghost, but you're going to hear me punch out the upbeats. And when you have a note, an eighth note followed by a rest, I'm really going to pop those. So, and sometimes it might feel like you're overdoing it a little bit right there because you got the bell 10 inches from your ears. But 30, 40, 50 feet out in the audience, it comes out just perfect. It really sparkles. And so you have to be thinking not what the trombones are thinking when they turn around, and not the saxophone, and sometimes even the director. You need to be thinking way past them, all the way out midway into the auditorium. And then if you're playing outside, it's almost game over. I mean, you really got to overdo and exaggerate. Otherwise, it just blends and becomes muddy and murky and kind of plain vanilla. So you're going to make this sparkle. And then, you do know that after 33, you got to come in on that high D, which is not a big deal. Seems like most people are able to get that one. But it's that measure 39 that gets a lot of people that get intimidated by seeing all those double Gs. So that's where you needed to have worked on your range. And this might be a good time for me to plug the 3-month 50 technique to upper register program that you could also find on my website. However, if you don't have double Gs or accurate double Gs in this kind of manner, you could always take it down and it would still come out kind of decent. So that's pretty much it. There's a lot more to work on in this one, and we're not working on it right now. I'm just giving some pointers on how I think this one should be started. So I'm included this one in the top tier lead trumpet program, and hopefully you've got your range up. If not, there's another program that you can work side by side with this if you want to do 2 programs at once, and or we could take down some of the higher parts so that at least you can get going on some of these songs. St. Thomas. So this is another Maynard Ferguson chart. Of course, the original is not done by Maynard, but this particular arrangement is. And I believe this was mid-90s. And you'll see this is a blazingly fast chart. Straight ahead Latin piece, which means we're not swinging it. What do I mean by swinging? If you look at 7, go 3 measures, we're not going to go da do dee 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 do dee do dee 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 do dee. No, it's Latin. Da 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 da. So it's Latin. It's straight ahead. A lot of the swing 8th note, that long short, or the long quick feel is kind of out on this one. This one is, I chose it because number one. It is a top tier lead trumpet chart in my opinion. You can't be a slouch and play this one. You can't have a mediocre range and play this one. And you can't have little experience and pull this one off and make it sound great. You have to be way up there. And as a result, how many times have you gone and heard a band do St. Thomas? This arrangement. Not the other ones, but this arrangement. I'm guessing you're going to probably say never or maybe once. And the reason is this one's difficult. If you don't see the pages in this one, but this one you need some really decent range, lasting power, and you really have to be dominant on this one so people can hear you out halfway at the end of the auditorium. So the one reason I picked this one is because it has a different feel. It's burning it up. I mean, look at the tempo marking there, 128 for the half note. This one's burning up and flying. This one you're going to be pushing the beat. If you even try to not push the beat and just stay on the beat, you're almost already going to be behind the beat and you're going to suck. It's not going to sound good. This one you push the beat And don't ever think that you're right on the beat. If you get the feeling you're right on the beat, you're already off. You need to be pushing the beat on this one. Be aggressive, push it, count. Don't be scared to come in after you count those rests. Boom, you're in. So, and this one also kind of mixes and matches the Maynard solo. Like if you go down to number 19, so I guess, of course, when Maynard was doing this, he had his lead trumpet player play at the beginning. And I'm guessing he came in the second time at 19 with a solo. But I think he did some ad-libbing over it. So this particular chart doesn't go right exactly with what Maynard's doing. But it does go pretty close with what the lead trumpet player is doing. And that's what we're going to be taking a look at. It's one of the charts in the top tier lead trumpet program. And this is St. Thomas. Right now you're looking at the Great One. And the Great One is in front of you. I will have the original chording that you will have also heard. And then I think I've also done this one just trumpet by itself, at least part of it. This one is a one-pager, and so you have the whole chart right in front of you. So should you want to get this piece and play along, by all means I would encourage it. However, here's a caveat. This is one of the hardest lead trumpet parts, personally, that I've played. It really is. And I'm talking about if you go down to I and you actually take that up as written, and the coda, if you also take that up and play the double B flat at the end. This one just, requires some serious strength and endurance and lasting power. The other thing is very technical. It skips around a lot. You have some weird augmented skips that you have to do, and it's a little bit kind of awkward compared to a lot of the lead stuff that I've done before. So now I played just about any kind of lead chart you can imagine, and a lot of times when I sit in with bands, if they're going to do a Thad Jones piece, guess which one they're going to pull out of the book, and guess which one they don't have. Okay, I'll let you think a moment. Okay, the answer is, just about anywhere in the world, if you're going to sit in and they're going to pull out Thad Jones' chart, almost always, for some reason, it seems to be Cherry Juice. And the lead trumpet, especially if you're not playing lead trumpet, or if you're just subbing, they're going to say, "Oh my God, we're doing Cherry Juice. It's so hard. It's so this. It's so that." Cherry Juice is really nothing. I mean, once you become a top tier lead trumpet player, it's really nothing. If you want to know the truth, I could warm up on Cherry Juice. There's just nothing that hard about it. It's fast and it's technical and it's kind of bebop-ish, but from a lead trumpet point of view, it's just another lead trumpet part that I'm going to blow right through. I might have a little bit of fun with it. Anyway, that's probably what they're going to pull out as Cherry Juice, and they're going to go on and on about how hard it is and this and that. It's not hard. The one that they're not going to have in the book is going to be this one that you're looking right in front of you. It's called the Great One. And the reason is not because they can't get it, because they can actually get it quite easily. The reason is because hardly any lead trumpet players can play it the way it's supposed to be played. And even if you don't take the 8VA at I, the stuff that comes before is pretty difficult as well. I mean, just look at it. It's also slow. So you're not going do day ba boo do da 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 ba da 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 da. You're not flying along fast. You're going slow, real slow, and so it takes a toll on you. This is the Great One. It was composed and also arranged by Thad Jones. It was done quite a long time ago, I think back in the early 70s, and you'll hear the original here. On this review, you're also going to hear me play the lead trumpet part of it anyway, by itself, just the trumpet only. And this one, in my opinion, of all the stuff that I've done, is right up there with one of the top lead trumpet parts. Is if you play it with all the 8 VAs and the power. So it can't be squeaked out, and you don't have a microphone. I mean, people in a 750-seat auditorium need to hear you in the back on this one at I when you're coming back for the second time around. And to be able to do that and have the power and the intonation and not be out of tune, this one really requires you to be one of the best lead players around to be able to pull this one off. Keep in mind, this one might not be the first one of the evening. What if you're doing this as the 12th song on your second set? You know, you did 8 songs the first set, you had a 15-minute break, you come back, you got your second set, you do 3 songs, and this is the 4th song on the second set. So that puts it in perspective. You really have to have some serious chops, and you also have to have great technique on this particular one. This is one that we are going to work on in the top tier lead trumpet program. And if you don't have the range to be able to play at least up until I, this is one that we probably would come back to. It's not really practical to take everything down from A all the way to G. So either you're going to have the E's and F's that will be required for the A until G, A until I, or we're going to have to just come back to this one, and we'll substitute it with something else. Otherwise, if you at least have the F's, we can go through pretty much the whole thing, and we don't have to take the 8 VA at I. You'll learn a lot from this one. You'll have an appreciation for the lead trumpet player that actually plays on the original recording. And if you ever hear this one live, you're going to really have an appreciation for the lead trumpet player that's playing this. Even if they don't do the best job in the world, it really takes a lot of confidence to pull this one out of the book, put it up on the stand, face the audience, and on a long night of playing, and just to dive in and to get this one down. Takes a lot of confidence and a lot of endurance. The great one. Okay, you're looking at the last dive in front of you, the lead trumpet part. And as you can see, it was composed and arranged by Matt Harris sometime a good 25 years ago or so, about mid-'80s. And Maynard Ferguson is the guy that recorded it with his band. This one actually is a decently hard lead trumpet part, and I'll tell you why. Well, first of all, there's a lot of playing. If you look through this one, you don't see the second sheet, but both sheets are just full of lots of playing. This one ends actually on a double A, and you're up above the staff a lot. This one also requires some technique. So you can't just muscle out high notes, or this is not a screamer piece or anything like that. You actually need to have worked on your technique in the past, or if you're crossover from legit playing, if you're trying to be an all-around player, or if you're moving up from the second book in the jazz band or third book, you will need to have worked on your technique outside the jazz venue or jazz band rehearsal site. I'm talking Arbans, Clark, those are the basics, and there's a plethora of other ones too. If you scan through there at the beginning and then all the way down to about midway through, you'll notice that there's going to be a lot of tonguing, a lot of punctuated articulation marks that go right along with the rhythm section. And so there are some rest in this one, but it's enough that when you get near the second page and midway through, you're going to feel it. This is not one that when you get done, you're going to immediately want to jump right into something right after that. You're going to need to catch your breath. So this is also a rock shuffle, meaning certain things are different. If you go down to the fourth line, go to the fourth line where it starts on the D flat. In a swing piece, you might go, but look here, they got the staccato marking. So it's some really a pointed, short tongue, short as you can make it. And the house top on the G is definitely going to be a little bit fatter than the rest of them. So this is a little bit different piece. It's a rock shuffle, and as soon as you hear it, which you should be, you're hearing this narrative of it, but then you're also going to hear the original recording of it by Maynard, and you'll be able to hear the whole band play it. So you'll get the immediate feel of it, and the immediate feel of that rock shuffle, in my opinion, comes right from the rhythm section. So anyway, have fun with this. If you got your horn out and you want to try to play some of it for sight reading purposes or whatever, you can do that. But just know that this is a top tier lead trumpet part. I haven't heard too many guys do that, this particular piece, as far as, lead trumpet wise. The couple guys that I have heard it did only a so-so job. And the only guy that really nailed it was whoever recorded it. I don't know if that was Maynard doing the lead chart the whole time, because he was also doing some ad-libbing. But this one requires the top level skills to be able to play it, especially when it's not the only song. Maybe you got 8 songs in the first set, and if this is one of them, if it's number 6 or 7, you need to have some serious chops to be able to make this one sing out. You got lots of good high notes, and you end on a double A. This is a top tier lead trumpet chart. You got to be good to do this one. This is the one that will be in the chorus, and some of the notes that are on the high side, we can easily take those down. There's a lot to work on this one here besides the high notes, so we can leave out some of the high notes just to be able to get the feel of the style.